They only wanted to get dinner so that we could see if we were compatible enough, you know, to hook up. Hello everyone, it's Haruinkorea, and today I wanted to make a video about the 5 green flags that I noticed when it comes to dating in Korea. Before we get started with this video, if you're not subscribed to my channel, I would greatly appreciate if you subscribe to my channel. In the coming year, I am planning on getting super serious about my channel, and I would love if you guys would join me for that journey. So yeah, if you're not subscribed, please go ahead and do that, and let's go ahead and get into the video. So I've been living in Korea since 2017, and since 2017, I have dated a lot of red flags, and I mean quite a lot. If you are not new to my channel, then I'm sure you have seen my multitude of dating videos, and if you haven't seen those videos, I would highly recommend you go check them out because I think they're hilarious. I mean, at the time, like, I was going through like a lot of pain, but now they're funny. But yeah, I dated a lot of just straight walking red flags, and past Brianna, we grieve for her, but you know, she is the reason we are here today, and she did not have any standards, but she was doing her best, and we are proud of her. But yeah, so prior to meeting my current boyfriend, I dated a lot of red flags. It wasn't until I started talking to my current boyfriend, and I started talking to him in December of 2021, and we officially met January 1st of 2022. It wasn't until I met him that I finally met somebody who was a green flag in Korea. He was just the complete opposite of all the other people that I ever dated in Korea or talked to. Just a complete 360. I had never met a green flag before, so it was quite surprising. But yeah, on Christmas, my boyfriend and I, we are going to make a video about how we met. So if you're interested in seeing that, then please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on that video. But before that video, I am going to tell you the 5 green flags that I noticed when I first started dating him. So the first green flag that I noticed when I first started dating my boyfriend, and I would say just dating in Korea in general, is that my boyfriend and I did something on our first date that was not just going to get coffee, going to lunch or dinner, or going to a bar. So prior to meeting my boyfriend, all of the dates that I went on involved me just going to a cafe with a guy, just going to lunch or dinner with a guy, or, you know, maybe meeting up at a bar with my friends for like a date or a hangout. Like, those are all of the dates that I went on with guys. Like, I did not do anything outside of that when it came to dating. So I was thinking like, oh, if I'm going out to eat with a person, I'm getting to talk to them a lot, I'm getting to know their opinions a lot, and I considered that to be a good thing. It wasn't until my mom told me, and I consider this to be like one of the best pieces of advice she gave me in terms of dating. She was like, Brianna, when you are dating somebody, when you are meeting someone who you are interested in getting to know better, you need to do something with them that is not just going out to eat with them. How can you possibly get to know a person if you're only eating with them? Like, you need to go and do an activity with them. You need to see how they are in public. You need to see how they are when they're doing something they enjoy, when they're doing something you enjoy, how they act around you, how they treat you. You know, she's like, you really cannot get to know a person and how they're going to be unless you go out and do lots of activities with them. And I was like, okay, but you know, the dating culture in Korea, especially in the beginning when you're first dating somebody, very much seems to be just go to a cafe or go get dinner or lunch. Every person that I dated prior to my boyfriend, we just did those typical 3 things: eating, cafe, or bar. If a person only wants to do those 3 things with you, I would be a little weary. The reason being is because if they're not wanting to do some other activities with you, you know, go do some hobbies with you, it seemed to me like they were not that interested in getting to know me, and they only wanted to get dinner so that we could see if we were compatible enough, you know, to hook up. And that is not what I was interested in. I didn't want to hook up. I didn't want to sleep around. I wanted to meet somebody as a lifelong partner. With that being said, I am not saying that if you go on a date with somebody in Korea and your first date is going out to eat, going to a cafe, or going to a bar, I'm not saying that's a red flag. I'm not saying that's a red flag at all. I'm saying if that's the only thing you're doing, you know, consistently, just be a little weary of that. And I'm also saying that it is a green flag for me that my boyfriend and I didn't do those things on our first date, because on our first date, what we ended up doing was we didn't really have a plan when we first met. And I don't want to spoil too much because I want to give all the details away in our video that we make on Christmas about how we met, but we ended up going to H&M on our first date. Now, I love shopping. I love H&M. But I was thinking in my head, like, you're just gonna watch me shop? But that was hands down the best first date I've ever had in my life, because we were doing something that wasn't just eating. You know, we got to go out and do an activity, and I love to shop, and my boyfriend also loves shopping, but he wasn't shopping that day. He was just watching me shop. And it was a lot of fun to like look at all of the different clothes with him and like make jokes like, oh my goodness, who would wear this, and critique different styles. And he got to try to guess what my style was. And he was like singing and dancing around H&M. Like, it was the best first date I've ever had in my life, and I felt so comfortable. And afterwards we did end up getting dinner, and so then we could like have that time to sit down and talk. I'm glad that the first thing we did was go to H&M before we got dinner, because it was really fun to get to connect at H&M. And by the time we got to dinner, I didn't feel any awkward vibes. Like, I felt very comfortable around him. So the reason why I consider this a green flag is because I thought, like, if he only wanted to, you know, sleep with me, why would he watch me shop? Like, why would a guy waste his time watching me shop? So that's why I consider it a green flag. The second thing that I would consider to be a green flag when it comes to dating in Korea is that you never get bored when it comes to texting with this person. Now, when I was dating the many red flags that I dated in Korea, I was always bored when I was texting them. I was always the one trying to carry the conversation. If the conversation died, I was always the one reviving the conversation. And it was really frustrating to me. So when I first started talking to my boyfriend, I had decided this rule that if I get bored one time, that's it, literally one time, I gave them one chance. If I got bored once, or you sent a one-word message once, I would revive the conversation one time, and after that I was done. I wouldn't talk to you anymore, because I was tired. I was so tired of people not putting effort into talking to me like I was putting effort into talking to them. So yeah, when it came to my boyfriend, I was never bored. Our conversations are always interesting. It's never one-word messages. And I do understand that maybe a lot of Korean people, especially if they're talking to a foreigner, maybe there's that language barrier, and so that can make it difficult to talk to somebody. But I was willing to text in Korean, so I feel like that was not an excuse for you to send a one-word message. And that's why I consider it a green flag. Even in the beginning, when I started texting my boyfriend, he was never boring. He never sent one-word messages, and it seemed like he was just as engaged in the conversation as I was. Third thing that I feel like is important when it comes to dating in Korea, and that I consider to be a green flag, is if he pays for the first date. So maybe I'm a little old-fashioned and maybe I'm a little traditional. I get that. But I feel like in Korean dating culture, you know, the guy should be paying for the first date. That's just my opinion. All the red flags that I dated before meeting my boyfriend, they did not pay for the first date. We always split it 50-50, and I had convinced myself that I was okay with that and that was cool and dandy. And it wasn't, because we would split it 50-50 and then you would still treat me like trash or still only want me for my body. Like, you didn't even spoil me. Like, come on, you know? And so that was very frustrating. I'm not saying it is a red flag if they pay 50-50. I'm sure a lot of people have met their current partner and you guys split the bill. That's fine. I'm also not saying that it is necessarily 100% a green flag if they do pay for the bill. I'm just saying the difference between my boyfriend and other people that I dated in Korea before meeting him is we always split the bill. Those people treated me like trash. My boyfriend paid for the bill on our first date. He did not treat me like trash. And that's why I think it was a green flag that he paid in the beginning, because it showed that he was interested in me, that he wanted to do something nice for me, and that he just wanted to treat me to a meal, which I appreciated. The fourth thing that I would consider to be a green flag when it comes to dating in Korea is, this might sound a little weird, but I consider it to be a green flag if the person you're dating does not immediately ask you to be their girlfriend, or does not seem overly eager to rush and jump into a relationship even though you barely know them. Like, I'm talking about asking you to be their girlfriend, first date type of situation. So I'm not saying that this is necessarily a red flag if they do. You know, maybe some people fall in love like that. I believe in that, you know? But I'm saying if a guy in Korea seems overly eager to make you their girlfriend, or like almost kind of pushy about it, I would just be wary of that. And the reason why is Korean dating culture is a little bit different. And I've been out of the dating scene for about 2 years, so maybe maybe it's changed. But when I was dating and what I heard from other people is like, I feel like in America, and I can only talk about America because I'm American, but I feel like in America, you go on some dates, you get to know the person, and after you go on some dates and you get to know them, then you become, you know, partners, and that's how it works out. In Korea, I feel like sometimes it's a little backwards and you become partners first, and then, you know, after that, you get to know them. But I would just be a little wary if a guy is really eager to make you their girlfriend and you really don't even know this guy, because a lot of times I feel like in Korea, you know, of course there's one night stands and there's people who sleep around, but I feel like some Korean guys use the fact that you guys are now in a relationship to justify immediately trying to sleep with you. And if a guy is only interested in sleeping with you and you guys become boyfriend and girlfriend, and he now feels like justified in being able to sleep with you because you guys are in a relationship, and he really doesn't care about you, he never really cared to get to know you, he only wanted to sleep with you, and now that you are in a relationship, he feels like, great, now that we're boyfriend and girlfriend, we can sleep together. Like, I would just be wary of that. I have read a lot of stories on relationship pages in Korea where the girl starts dating the guy, they become boyfriend and girlfriend pretty quickly, and then after they're in a relationship and they sleep together, suddenly the guy is not that interested. So I would just be careful of that. And also, especially in Korea, you want to get to know this person a little bit before you start dating them. Like, it's very common that, you know, this person might ghost you. It's very common this person's not interested in you. It's very common this person might just want to be sleeping with you or just sleeping with foreigners, you know, to get that experience. There's a lot of times that guys have secret profiles. They might have a girlfriend that you don't know about. You would want to know these things, right? So I would say give it a little bit of time. For my boyfriend, we met for the first time on January 1st, 2022, and that was our first date, and we consider that to be our anniversary date. But we did not become official until March, like mid-March of 2022. But yeah, we went on a bunch of dates before we became official, and I kept thinking to myself like, okay, well, clearly he's like interested in me, because again, we were doing things that were not just sitting down and going to get dinner or to a cafe. Like, we were going shopping, we were going on cable cars and to the beach and, you know, exploring different areas. By the time we became official, like, I felt comfortable around him because we had done so many things together. It was nice to get to know him before we were in a relationship. I felt like he actually liked me when we became official. All right, and the last thing that I consider to be a green flag when it comes to dating in Korea is finding a person who is comfortable to be themselves in public. So in Korea, I feel like a lot of times Korean people are so anxious about what other people are gonna think of them. Like, they don't want to stand out at all. And so me and my friends are always talking about how Korea is such a neutral country because, like, they only have neutral colors. Nobody's wearing anything super bright. Like, all the cars are like the same color. Everybody's hair is very similar styles. Everybody's makeup is very similar. Like, nobody is doing anything extravagant because they don't want to stand out. You know, they want to fit into that, you know, standard in that box of what Korea considers acceptable. I also feel like in public, people usually are trying to be very proper because, you know, they don't want people to judge them. So when I was dating red flags in Korea, I very much felt like I couldn't really be myself around them. I felt like they were concerned about what other people were thinking about them or what they were thinking about us. Like, when I started dating my boyfriend, I never felt uncomfortable around him. The reason why is because he was very much himself in public, and it was very different because I was seeing a man who didn't care what Korean people thought of him. Like, he was dancing in H&M on our first date. He was singing and twirling around H&M on our first date. When we go out and when we're in public, and, you know, I don't feel like I need to perform. Like, I just feel like it's just us and we can just be ourselves, and that makes me really comfortable. Versus when I was dating the other guys, red flags, I felt like I always needed to perform. I felt like I couldn't be myself. I felt like I needed to live up to the Korean beauty standard, which, as you can see, is clearly impossible. And yeah, you know, dating my boyfriend and seeing how he acts in public was very comforting because I then felt like I could be myself. So yeah, those are the 5 green flags that I noticed when it comes to dating in Korea, and specifically my relationship. I am not saying that every relationship is the same. Of course, every relationship is different. I'm not saying that if a person does the things that I consider to be green flags, that means they're a great person. And I'm not saying if they don't do the things, that makes them a bad person. And I'm also not saying that if you do any of the things I consider to be red flags, I'm not saying that makes you a bad person, because everybody's different, obviously. I'm just saying, based on my relationship, these are the things that I noticed that were totally different when it came to dating my boyfriend versus dating all the other red flags that I dated while in Korea. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, please let me know in the comment section down below. Please let me know if there's any other videos that you guys would like to see. If you have any suggestions for topics that you're interested in, please leave them in the comment section down below. Again, make sure to check out my dating horror stories, because there's so many and they're quite interesting. My boyfriend and I will be making a video about how we met on Christmas, so if you're interested in seeing that, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Make sure to give this video a like, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!